Welcome back, degenerates, to Place Your Bets. I'm Tyler James. He's the one and only Eric Hansen. We cover Notre Dame football, recruiting, and more for InsideNDSports.com on the Rivals Network. And we like to make prop bets and predictions about Notre Dame football even the day after Thanksgiving. Our season-long competition on the Insider Lounge rewards the first place subscriber with a free 12-month extension of their subscription, and second place gets 6 free months. There's a thread over on the Insider Lounge where you can submit your picks, and there's also a link for that in the video description below. Eric, last week, most of our subscribers struggled with the prop your bets in the same way the Army struggled to slow down Jeremiyah Love. There were no perfect scores, and I joined Jay Heisler 12 and Skills 32 as the only three to get 4 correct. Eric, unfortunately, you only managed to get 2 correct. Were you letting the noise get to you?
I was. I need to shut out the outside noise and focus and stop worrying about what place people need to finish in to get an autographed picture of you.
Well, after last week's results, I've jumped into a tie with you in the season standings at 31, and
We'll also take a picture because it won't last.
We also have a tie in first place with Jimmy J1, jumping up a spot to tie BMM 2834. So it's getting tight here at the end of the regular season. So let's try to create some more separation with this week's prop bets for Notre Dame's game at USC. All right, first one I have for us, Eric, is over under 90.5 rushing yards for Notre Dame running back at Jeremiyah Love.
You know, there's times where these feel like gimmies, and like the Riley Mills getting a sack, I think, against Virginia felt like that, and I don't think he got one in that game, or it was something like that. But this kind of feels like a gimme. There's been running backs that aren't nearly as good as Jeremiyah going over 100 yards against USC this season. He's fresh. He's going to get opportunities. I realize they'll split it up with Jadari and Price getting some opportunities and Riley Leonard, but I think Jeremiyah Love gets over for me.
Yeah, I went with over as well. I wasn't sure where to put this number because he's been playing so well lately. He's hit 100 yards in 3 of his last 4 games. He's only averaging 77 on the season, but it wouldn't be surprising for him to go well past that. So I think he's on a heater, and I think that will be replicated on Saturday against USC. All right, next up, who will lead Notre Dame in receptions?
That's kind of like a lottery every week, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the California kid. I'm going to go with Bo Collins being back home in Los Angeles area. And he gets the most reps of any wide receiver pretty consistently. He gets the most targets in a lot of games. So he will be my choice.
Yeah, I went the same way. That I think there's a chance it could be 4 or 5 different guys.
Right.
But I feel like the odds would be most in favor of him. He's the leading receiver for the season. Hasn't been as impressive lately as maybe he was in the middle of the season, but I expect a homecoming game for him to be a good one. All right, will Notre Dame's defense force a turnover?
That also felt like a trick question since they are leading the country in forcing turnovers, and USC coughs them up pretty frequently. So I'm going to say yes. Now, let me ask you this. If there's a muff punt, that doesn't count as
that does not. No, that would be for special teams.
That's all right. I'll still go with yes.
Yeah,
or over or whatever I'm supposed to say here.
Yes, you did it correct. Yes, I think that the odds are in favor of Notre Dame doing that, even though Jayden Maiava has only thrown 1 interception in his 2 starts so far this season. Notre Dame has 15 interceptions defensively, and I think they'll add to that total this weekend. All right, next up, over under 45 net punting average for USC.
Well, USC leads the country. They're a little over 46. And I think I fell for this in the Florida State because Florida State was number 1 when they played Notre Dame. And Notre Dame gets a lot of pressure on the punters, and it doesn't feel like they get as good of an average. And then also, if there's a block or a partial block, that figures in that punting, and also returns do. So I'm going to go under. I'm not going to take the safe bet here. I'm going to go under.
All right, yeah, I went with under as well.
Copycat.
Notre Dame isn't great in punt return average. They're 103rd with 5.27 yards, but I think the pressure on the punter and even short returns for Max Hurleman are enough to keep USC a few yards under its net punting average. So we're looking a lot the same so far this week, Eric. All right, next up,
outfits, though.
Next up, over under 215.5 passing yards for USC quarterback Jayden Maiava.
So Notre Dame's held 5 teams 100 or fewer passing yards. 2 people have been over. It's been Georgia Tech and Louisville. Their numbers are very similar to USC's in terms of what they average per game in the passing game. They're just better at it than USC is, more efficient. I think USC is going to be playing from behind. I also think this is how USC moves the ball. So I do think they're going to go over.
Yeah, I went with over as well. I usually side with the unders almost exclusively against Notre Dame's pass defense, but I feel like it's going to go over this time.
That doesn't mean they're going to be good 216 yards. It's just volume.
Yeah, Maiava's thrown for 259 and 221 yards in his 2 starts. Miller Moss was over 215 yards in all but one of his starts this season, who was USC's previous starting quarterback. And like you mentioned, Louisville and Georgia Tech are the 2 teams who have thrown for over 200 against Notre Dame, and they hit 264 and 269 respectively. So I think Maiava will get over, and they'll have some success.
The trick is if they switch quarterbacks and go back to Moss.
that would really throw a loop, and I think people on the message board would be mad at me as if I knew that was going to happen.
I'd be mad at you too, just for fun.
All right, speaking of fun, here's our fun one for the week. Will Snoop Dogg make an appearance at the game?
Well, I have kind of inside knowledge on this. Snoop Dogg is a coach for The Voice this year. They are doing the live shows, the semifinals on Monday and Tuesday. Now it's in Los Angeles, so he's there, but he's got 2 contestants still left. And if he's screwing around at a USC Notre Dame game 2 days before he has to get those people ready, then I'm going to be very disappointed in him. So I say no, he will not make an appearance at the game.
Yeah, there won't be any promos for The Voice on CBS because that would be a cross-network promotion. So I'm going no because I think he'll be too nervous after attending the Notre Dame's women's basketball USC game when the Irish whooped the Trojans last weekend. He doesn't want to see another beating in person, so he's gonna.
I asked Hannah Hidalgo if she had a jacket for him like Juju Watkins did. She thought that was funny.
All right, what's your final score prediction for Notre Dame USC?
I'm going to predict that Notre Dame will win 28-17. I'm going lower scoring. I just don't think USC is going to score a lot. If they couldn't score on UCLA's defense, they're not going to get into the 20s on Notre Dame.
We really are on the same frequency today because I have the exact same score prediction. I don't think we've done that all season. So that assures that it will not happen in that matter. So do not plan on it.
I think it's the tryptophan from the turkey.
Do not plan on it being Notre Dame 28, USC 17, but that's what we're both predicting. So we'll see how it goes. That is it for Place Your Bets.
Wait, one more thing.
All right. What do you got?
Our Black Friday special. We've got a Black Friday special going on right now. So go to our website. It's 75% off for a year subscription.
Yes, and I'll include a link to that in the video description below. So please, if you're not subscribed to us on InsideNDSports.com, please take advantage of that deal. This is the best deal of the year that we run every year.
Okay.
All right.
Now you can close it.
Now that business is done, that's it for Place Your Best. Best of luck with your predictions. Enjoy another Saturday of college football, and we'll talk to you after the game.